Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. For some of us, the future is data centres, AI and technology. For just a few others, like today's guest, that's been the past, or at least their world for more than 3 decades. Macquarie Technology Group, which until this year was Macquarie Telecom, has been something of a perennial thorn in the side of better-known players, initially big telcos and nowadays cloud companies, data centre players, cybersecurity groups. Founders David and David Tudehope this week were awarded the Pearcey Medal for lifetime contributions to Australia's ICT industry. I'm delighted to say David Tudehope, CEO of Macquarie Technology Group, is with me this morning. David, welcome back to Fear and Greed.
Thank you, Sean.
Macquarie Technology, Macquarie Telecom, why did you start it right at the beginning?
The business really came out of the deregulation of the telecom sector. That was the origins. It was a time where customers were called subscribers, and there was a government-owned monopolist. And back then, there was a thing called casualties of Telstra, and into this industry that had been treating customers poorly for forever, deregulation was meant to change things, and in we jumped, and we targeted business customers because that's what I'd known from my shorter previous career in the banking sector, and it was very plain that business customers were being underserved and overcharged, and that really became our purpose for the following 30 years.
Okay, so I want to get onto that and the whole customer service thing, but you sort of have, over the 30 years, taken on some real industry titans. Why?
Yeah, look, we look for markets which are underserved and overcharged. And in telecom sector, that was true when we started the business for sure. Surprisingly, and I say that because people said to me, oh, of course they'll get better and the industry will get better and the gap will get closer and maybe they'll even overtake you. Here we are 30 years later, and the telecom sector is still one of the worst sectors in Australia and indeed around the world for customer service. Our sector generates twice the number of complaints to the telco ombudsman as all the banking clients, the banking ombudsman. We're twice as bad as the banking industry, which I think is extraordinary. So into that world, a business that's all about customer service and transparency and not overcharging people cuts through because the contrast is so stark.
Now, you've morphed since those days, though, to take on well beyond telco. So just explain what you do now and some of your competitors and how you compete with them.
Yeah, so every business we started came out of identifying markets that were similarly underserved and overcharged. And we started in the cybersecurity industry back in 2005, focusing on government customers. Back then it was called e-security. It was a bit of a backwater in the IT world. And there was a monopoly in Canberra with a large US company that had bought up all the other businesses. And every year they were increasing prices, and every year they were reducing the scope of their services and therefore charging for everything above that. And we had a government client of our telecom business who said, look, I'm not going to stand for it anymore. This is outrageous. Can you provide cybersecurity services for us that are compliant with the government requirements for all government agencies? And he said, look, if you do a good job, Canberra's a small town, we'll spread the word, and I'll put a good word in for you with other clients. And we did. To his credit, he did. And what's now 18 years later, he's still a client of ours, and we have gone from 0 customers in cybersecurity in Canberra to 42% of the federal government market. And we literally won them one at a time. That particular individual is still in the federal public service. He's gone through 4 different agencies in his career. He's brought each one of the 4 to us over time, and he's been a man true to his word, and has said to us, you've got to keep earning it, Macquarie, but if you keep delivering, I'll keep putting good word in for you. And that's really what we look for. Similarly, in the cloud market, we've expanded into public cloud, which is inherently a do-it-yourself business where you sign up for public cloud and you're meant to just manage it yourself, unless you pay a large premium. Even then, it's very tightly scoped as to what's in and out of their service. So into that market, we've brought service. We've also brought tools to manage public cloud consumption, which is charged for on a usage basis. It can easily skyrocket. So I guess that's really the philosophy. It's really guided the markets we've chose to expand into, and really been a bit of a compass as we've navigated the last 30 years.
Stay with me, David. We'll be back in a minute. My guest today is David Tudehope, CEO of Macquarie Technology Group, and with his brother Aidan, winner of the Pearcey Medal for lifetime contributions to the Australian ICT industry. Another thing that the Pearcey Medal judges highlighted this week was your championing of regulatory issues. I always think when you're running a listed company, obviously you have to champion your own interests. That's what shareholders want you to do. Championing regulatory issues, it's kind of a fine line at times, though, isn't it?
Yes, it talks to our purpose around overcharging, because it was very clear that in the telecom sector that was customers being massively overcharged by Telstra. And even when competition came along, it didn't change that much because it became a duopoly and then a sort of oligopoly of sorts. So the competition didn't come naturally, and call charges kept increasing there for many years, and we would definitely really champion the deregulation of the sector. I mean, frankly, we fought for years for local calls to be deregulated. Then the next big battle after we won that one was fixed to mobile, and the whole way Telstra threw lawyers at us, economists at us, consultancies, lobbyists, leveraged their links with government to block competition the whole way through. And that was a really hard fought battle. There were some other good telecom companies that supported us in that journey, but they've frankly come and gone over time. And we're very proud of the fact that we have been able to be that challenger telecom company that has benefited 25 million Australians by deregulating the price of local calls and fixed to mobile and 1-800 calls and other things that brings down the costs of living.
Do you still see yourself as a challenger 30 years on?
We do, partly through the service piece and partly through the overcharging piece, and developing new things to make both of those better.
Okay. What about the Australian ICT? It seems like an old-fashioned term, but the Australian technology sector as it stands now, where are we? Where are we going?
Well, the tech sector is a fun place because it's always changing. And certainly what kept me in the industry for 30 years is that what you would talk about today is different in a couple of years' time and very different in 5 years' time, almost irrelevant. So it's a sector that's evolving constantly and faster than other sectors. It's also a sector where, as a result, where you can get today's roosters can become tomorrow's feather dusters. I mean, the number of tech companies that are one moment on neon signs, next moment they're gone, is substantial. And therefore, to sustain a business, you've got to constantly adapt, constantly evolve. And you can make a mistake, but you can't make too many mistakes. And if you do pick the wrong technology, you've really got to pivot within a year or two, otherwise you can get run over. So it makes it a business where you'll be engaged in. You've got to constantly be looking out on the horizon. And I'd say as a result, people in the tech sector tend to be very open-minded about what might be coming up next, and less probably transfixed like they are to other industries on who's the biggest today. They're probably more looking for who's growing and who's challenging us tomorrow. And there's no better example that right now I think most of the tech sectors looking over their shoulder at AI, thinking is this an opportunity or a threat? And I think there will definitely be today some large tech companies that won't be there tomorrow, and there'll be some AI companies you haven't heard of that will one day be on those neon signs.
So what next for Macquarie Technology Group then?
Well, I think we see AI as part of our future. We see it from our data center business point of view, probably most obviously. We're building new data centers built for AI, for the concentration of power that they need to support them. I think the other piece is that we know from a point of view of cloud and cybersecurity, just as the hackers are now using cybersecurity, so too we're putting AI in the defense, as that effectively that arms race only accelerates. And in our cloud business, we see AI as a very important part of the type of clouds we manage. So we think it's a real benefit to our business, but it's one which is evolving so quickly. It's something that we think will be a really critical opportunity for our business going forward, and other businesses that embrace it, as well as like everybody else using AI to make our own business better on the inside as well. The other thing is looking forward, we think cybersecurity is a huge part of the future. Cybersecurity is obviously high profile today, which certainly wasn't all those years ago, but that's a good part about it. These days you're pushing through an open door. But I think the sophistication of the hacking threats means that the level of complexity for the customer has also gone up. And also the challenge for regulators and law enforcement's gone up. So the whole game has become more challenging, and we think there's a great opportunity for Macquarie to add value both to our corporate clients and our government clients in this world of escalating cyber threats.
David, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
Thank you, Sean.
That was David Tudehope, CEO of Macquarie Technology Group. This is the Fear and Greed business interview. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, Australia's best business podcast. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.